Here's a more detailed and expanded development timeline of F-Zero GX, reflecting the possibility of the project beginning as early as 1999. F-Zero GX development timeline: early stages, 1999 to 2001. 1999, early conceptualization after the success of F-Zero X. 1998, on the Nintendo 64, Nintendo began to consider the future of the F-Zero franchise. This period would likely have involved brainstorming ideas for a new entry that could take advantage of the more powerful hardware capabilities of the upcoming Nintendo GameCube, released in 2001. The F-Zero series had always been known for its high-speed racing, futuristic setting, and unique characters, and Nintendo wanted to bring all of those elements to the next level with F-Zero GX. Discussions would have started internally about how to push the series' graphical capabilities and the racing mechanics to match the power of the GameCube, which promised better graphics, faster processing, and more complex environments compared to the Nintendo 64.2000. Seeking external help at this point, Nintendo realized the GameCube's hardware could support more detailed and fast-paced racing mechanics than F-Zero X, which was known for its simple yet effective gameplay. However, the technical expertise needed for the kind of fast-paced, 3D racing they envisioned was beyond what the internal teams were focused on at the time. Sega, a major Japanese game developer, was transitioning into a more third-party role after exiting the console market in 2001. Sega's Amusement Vision team, later renamed Sega Racing Studio, was known for developing the Virtua Fighter series and the OutRun franchise, and they were seen as a perfect fit for creating the next-generation F-Zero racing game. Initial discussions likely began around this time about collaborating with Sega to create F-Zero GX. Full development begins 2001 to 2002. 2001, Sega joins the project. In 2001, Nintendo officially announced its collaboration with Sega's Amusement Vision to develop F-Zero GX. This decision was pivotal, as it marked the first time the F-Zero series was being developed outside of Nintendo's internal teams. The development team at Amusement Vision, led by director Tetsuya Mizuguchi, was responsible for the technical side of the game, including creating the high-speed, dynamic racing mechanics that would become the hallmark of F-Zero GX. The GameCube was released in 2001, providing the team with the tools and the graphical power to make F-Zero GX a visual and technical showcase for the console. Early concepts for the game focused on enhancing the core mechanics of F-Zero X, such as boosting, 3D tracks, and fast-paced gameplay, while also incorporating new features like mission mode and improved eye for racing opponents. 2002, first public reveal at E3. 2002, Nintendo officially unveiled F-Zero GX to the public, showcasing early footage of the game's stunning graphics and high-speed races. This period also marked the solidification of the game's design direction, with the team working on refining the core racing mechanics, ensuring the game maintained the franchise's traditional difficulty, but with a more accessible control system for new players. The development team focused on ensuring that F-Zero GX would push the GameCube's graphical capabilities to their limits. The game featured detailed environments, fluid animations, and a strong sense of speed are key elements that define the game's visual style. Nintendo and Sega also began to work on expanding the F-Zero universe, adding new characters and refining the backstory of the Racing League. Development refinement, 2002 to 2003. 2002, expanding gameplay. F-Zero GX introduced a number of new features to the series, most notably the story mode, which allowed players to experience a narrative while racing. This was a departure from previous F-Zero titles, which had focused purely on the racing itself. The development team worked on improving the game's AI, ensuring that computer-controlled opponents were more competitive and reactive to player movements, adding to the game's difficulty. The game's core racing mechanics were fine-tuned for the GameCube's controller. The boost mechanic was revamped, and new moves like sliding and sharp turns were incorporated into the gameplay to make races more dynamic. Additionally, mission mode was added, allowing players to complete challenges that went beyond standard racing. This mode became a fan favorite for its difficulty and variety. 2003, polishing and testing. As the release date approached, the development team focused on debugging, polishing the visuals, and ensuring the game ran smoothly on the GameCube hardware. Extensive playtesting was carried out to ensure the game's difficulty was balanced. The game's challenging and fast-paced tracks would become a defining feature of F-Zero GX, making it one of the hardest racing games of its time. Sound design was also a priority, with music composed by Sega Sound Team. The game featured a rock-inspired soundtrack to match the high-octane races. Release, August 2003. August 2003, official launch. F-Zero GX was released in Japan on July 29, 2003, and in North America on August 25, 2003. The game received critical acclaim for its incredible visuals, fast-paced gameplay, and challenging difficulty. The collaboration between Nintendo and Sega brought out the best elements of both companies' expertise, making F-Zero GX one of the standout racing games of the GameCube era. Reviewers praised the game's smooth control, multiplayer modes, and deep level of content, while also noting its difficulty as both a strength and a potential barrier to entry for casual players. Post-release, 2003 to 2004. After its release, F-Zero GX was lauded as one of the best racing games of the era. However, despite its critical success, the game did not perform as well commercially as Nintendo had hoped, possibly due to its extreme difficulty and the niche appeal of the franchise. In 2004, a spin-off game, F-Zero, GP Legend, also developed by Nintendo and released on the Game Boy Advance, was released, but the F-Zero series itself remained largely dormant afterward. While F-Zero GX became a cult classic and was praised by fans for its deep mechanics and technical achievement, the franchise has not seen a major release since. Legacy F-Zero GX remains a beloved title for many fans of the series. Its emphasis on speed, tight controls, and challenging still stands as one of the best racing games to date. Despite the lack of new entries in the F-Zero series, the game has influenced many future racing games, especially those that emphasize high-speed, technical gameplay. The development of F-Zero GX is seen as a turning point in the series, marking the last major console release for the franchise as of now. Summary of key points. Initial development likely began around 1999 following the success of F-Zero X, with Nintendo aiming to take the series to new heights on the GameCube. Sega's involvement began around 2001, with their Amusement Vision team taking the lead on development. The game was officially announced in 2002 and released in 2003, showcasing cutting-edge visuals and gameplay for the GameCube. Despite its critical acclaim, F-Zero GX struggled commercially but remains a cult classic among fans and a significant achievement in racing games. For many,